Silent approach. The vast conference chamber of the Galactic Coalition's Central Command buzzed with activity. Representatives from 27 advanced spacefaring species gathered around the massive holographic display showing the known galaxy, their galaxy. High Counselor Velnix, a tall, slender being with iridescent scales and 6 graceful limbs, gestured toward a small, unremarkable sector on the outer rim. These reports of unusual activity near the human territories are hardly worth our attention, Velnix announced, dismissing the concerns with a wave of his upper appendage. The humans have barely mastered rudimentary interplanetary travel. They pose no threat to coalition interests. The gathered representatives murmured in agreement. For centuries, the Galactic Coalition had observed Earth from a distance, classifying humans as a developing species, one not yet worthy of formal contact or admission to the greater galactic community. Occasional probes monitored their slow technological progress, but the Coalition's assessment remained unchanged for generations. Humans were aggressive, unpredictable, and technologically primitive. Across the chamber, Security Director Krasful, a stocky being with armored skin and penetrating yellow eyes, didn't share the Council's dismissive attitude. High Counselor, with respect, our monitoring stations have detected unusual energy signatures. The humans may have advanced beyond our previous assessments. Impossible, scoffed Admiral Zixtar, the Coalition's military commander. His massive frame dwarfed the other representatives, his leathery skin marked with ceremonial scarifications, denoting his many victories. Our last assessment was merely 20 cycles ago. No species advances that quickly. No species except, perhaps, the humans. Commander Rio Capper stood on the bridge of the Thunderbolt, Earth's first true interstellar warship. Through the viewports, stars streaked by as the vessel moved silently through space, its revolutionary propulsion system leaving no detectable energy signature. The ship's sleek design, midnight black with barely visible blue highlights along its hull, made it nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Status report, Ria commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Lieutenant Wei Chen, her tactical officer, looked up from his console. All systems nominal, Commander. Stealth systems at maximum efficiency. We remain undetected. And our ETA to Coalition space. 3 hours, 17 minutes. Rhea nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the starlight. At 42, she had spent half her life in Earth's unified space force, rising through the ranks during humanity's most remarkable period of technological advancement. The past 50 years had seen Earth transform from a planet of divided nations, struggling with climate change, to a unified world that had secretly mastered technologies the Coalition believed were centuries beyond human capability. The Coalition has no idea what's coming, remarked Dr. Eliza Montgomery, the ship's chief scientist and one of the architects of Earth's technological revolution. They've been watching us for centuries, thinking we're just fumbling in the dark. That's been our advantage, Rio replied. Their arrogance blinded them to what was happening right in front of them. Earth had detected Coalition monitoring probes decades ago, but had cleverly maintained the facade of a slowly developing civilization, while secretly preparing for this moment. The Thunderbolt was just the first ship of Earth's hidden fleet, a fleet built in underground facilities and asteroid bases away from prying eyes. Do you think they'll attack when we arrive? Wei asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Ria's expression remained neutral. Probably. The Galactic Coalition isn't known for welcoming unexpected guests, especially those they've deemed primitive. But they're about to learn that underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake. In the Coalition's monitoring station nearest to human space, Junior Analyst Trebnar stared at his display in confusion. His antennae twitched nervously as he recalibrated his instruments for the third time. Supervisor Kelvak, he called, his voice quavering. I'm detecting an anomaly approaching Coalition space. The supervisor, a being with translucent skin that revealed the complex network of organs beneath, hovered over to Trebinar Station. What kind of anomaly? I'm not sure. It doesn't match any known signature. It's almost as if something is creating a void in space. Kelvac's skin darkened with concern, a physiological response her species couldn't control. Could it be sensor malfunction? No, Supervisor. 3 separate systems are detecting it. Something is out there, moving deliberately toward Coalition space. Kelvac's skin darkened with concern, a physiological response her species couldn't control. Could it be sensor malfunction? No, Supervisor. 3 separate systems are detecting it. Something is out there, moving deliberately toward Coalition space. Within minutes, the alert had been escalated to Central Command, where Admiral Zix Tar stood before the tactical display, watching the anomaly's progress with growing unease. It could be nothing, one of his officers suggested. A natural phenomenon, perhaps. Natural phenomena don't change course, Zix Tar growled, his massive frame tensing as the tracking data updated. This is a vessel using technology we haven't encountered before. Deploy reconnaissance ships immediately. I want to know what we're dealing with. Aboard the Thunderbolt, alarms sounded as Coalition ships appeared on their sensors. They've spotted us. Wei announced, fingers flying over his tactical console. 3 Coalition vessels changing course to intercept. Rhea nodded, unsurprised. Right on schedule. Disengage stealth systems. Let them see us clearly now. With a series of commands, the Thunderbolt's revolutionary cloaking technology deactivated. Suddenly, the sleek black warship became fully visible to Coalition sensors, its human origins unmistakable as it displayed Earth's unified emblem. A stylized globe with a single star above it. Open communication channels, Rhea ordered. All frequencies, all languages in the Coalition database. She straightened her uniform, the deep blue of Earth's Space Force with silver insignia denoting her rank, and faced the communications display. This is Commander Rhea Kapper of the Earth vessel Thunderbolt. We come to establish diplomatic relations with the Galactic Coalition. The bridge crew waited in tense silence. After several long moments, the display flickered and revealed the imposing figure of Admiral Zix Tar. Human vessel, the Admiral growled, his translator converting his natural speech to English. You have entered Coalition space without authorization. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. Rhea smiled thinly. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Admiral. We're here to discuss Earth's recognition as a spacefaring civilization and potential membership in your coalition. We believe we've met all the technological requirements. Zix Tar's expression darkened. Humans are not ready for coalition membership. Your assessment period is still ongoing. With respect, Admiral, that assessment is outdated. We've been aware of your monitoring probes for decades and chose to let you believe what you wanted while we developed in private. The Admiral's eyes narrowed dangerously. You will comply with coalition directives or face immediate consequences. Before you make threats, Admiral, Rhea countered calmly, I should inform you that the Thunderbolt is merely one of Earth's vessels. We've chosen peaceful contact, but we are fully capable of defending ourselves if necessary. As if to emphasize her point, the Thunderbolt systems came fully online, revealing weapons capabilities that caused visible alarm among the Coalition's tactical officers visible in the background of the transmission. You have 1 hour to inform your leadership of our arrival, Rhea continued. We look forward to productive discussions about Earth's place in the galactic community. The transmission ended, leaving Admiral Zix Tar staring at a blank screen, rage building within him. No primitive species had ever dared to enter Coalition space uninvited, let alone make demands. The humans would learn their place. He would personally ensure it. In the Coalition Central Command, chaos erupted as news of the human warship spread. High Counselor Velnix struggled to maintain order as representatives demanded immediate action, their previous dismissal of humanity replaced by sudden fear. How did they develop this technology without our knowledge? Demanded the Protean delegate, his form shifting nervously between various shades. Our monitoring systems are infallible. Security Director Kraz Full stepped forward. Clearly, they are not. We've underestimated the humans, perhaps severely so. This changes nothing, Admiral Zix-Tar declared as he entered the chamber, his massive frame radiating controlled fury. They've violated our space. Protocol demands we respond with force. Velnix raised all 6 hands for silence. Before we take action that could lead to conflict, we need more information. What exactly are we facing? Krasful activated the central holographic display, showing detailed scans of the Thunderbolt. The human vessel employs technologies we believed were centuries beyond their capability. Energy signatures suggest weaponry at least equal to our medium-class warships, possibly superior. Their propulsion system is unlike anything in our database. One ship is hardly a threat to the Coalition, Zix-Tar dismissed. The human commander claims there are others. Kraz Full countered. If true, we may be facing a species that has deliberately deceived us while developing military capabilities in secret. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For centuries, the Coalition had categorized species across the galaxy, determining which were ready for contact and which needed more time to develop. Humans had always been in the latter category, violent, divided, primitive. If that assessment had been wrong, what else had they missed? High Counselor Velnix's scales shifted from iridescent blue to a troubled gray. Prepare a delegation to meet with these humans. Let us hear what they have to say before deciding on a course of action. Admiral Zix-Tar's eyes narrowed. And if they prove hostile? Then, Velnix replied gravely, you may have your war, Admiral. As the council session adjourned, none of the representatives noticed the small surveillance drone hovering in the corner of the chamber, a human device that had been monitoring Coalition activities for years, transmitting every word back to the Thunderbolt. The game of deception had entered its final phase, and humanity had just played its opening move. Shock and awe. The Coalition diplomatic vessel Harmony approached the Thunderbolt with practiced caution. Sleek and elegant, its pearl-white exterior gleamed against the blackness of space, a stark contrast to the midnight hull of the human warship. Aboard the Harmony, Ambassador Trelvon of the Illuvian species prepared for first contact with these unexpectedly advanced humans. Remember, instructed High Counselor Velnix through the communication channel, this is a diplomatic mission, but security is paramount. The humans must understand that while we acknowledge their technological achievement, they have violated Coalition protocols. I understand, High Counselor, Trelvon replied, her luminescent eyes blinking in sequence, an expression of concern in her species. But what if Ambassador Krasthul is correct? What if we fundamentally misjudged them? Then we shall reevaluate. The Coalition has existed for millennia because of our adaptability. The transmission ended, leaving Trelvon unconvinced. Throughout her career, she had witnessed the Coalition's rigid hierarchical thinking. They categorize species as primitive or advanced, dangerous or benign, labels that determined a civilization's fate without their knowledge or consent. Humanity had been labeled as primitive but potentially dangerous for centuries. Now that dangerous potential had arrived at their doorstep. Admiral Zix-Tar watched the diplomatic proceedings from his command vessel, the Inevitable, positioned just outside weapons range of the human ship. While the politicians talked, he prepared. 3 additional battle cruisers had quietly moved into position, surrounding the Thunderbolt in a standard containment formation. All vessels report ready, Admiral, his second-in-command reported. Excellent, Zix-Tar rumbled, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. The moment diplomatic talks fail, and they will, we'll demonstrate to these humans what real galactic power looks like. Sir, our scans still can't penetrate their defensive systems. We have limited understanding of their capabilities. The Admiral dismissed the concern with a wave of his massive hand. 1 ship against 4 of our battle cruisers. The outcome is inevitable. On his private screen, Zix-Tar reviewed the Coalition's historical data on humans. They were a fragmented species that had spent most of their recorded history fighting among themselves. Only recently had they achieved planetary unification, and even that was believed to be tenuous. How could such a chaotic, primitive species have developed technology that rivaled the Coalition's? The question gnawed at him. Somewhere, somehow, the Coalition's intelligence had failed catastrophically, and Admiral Zix-Tar did not tolerate failure. Commander Rhea Capper sat across from Ambassador Trelvon in the Thunderbolt's conference room. Despite the tension of the situation, Rhea maintained a composed demeanor, her dark eyes studying the Illuvian ambassador with genuine curiosity. It was humanity's first official face-to-face meeting with a Coalition representative. "Your vessel is quite remarkable, Commander," Trelvon began, her translator converting her melodic language to crisp English. "The Coalition is surprised by its sophistication." "Surprised seems an understatement, Ambassador," Rhea replied with a slight smile. "Your Coalition has been monitoring Earth for centuries, categorizing us as primitive while we observe your observers." Trelvon's luminescent eyes flickered, a sign of discomfort. "You were aware of our monitoring. For decades, we detected your probes, decoded your transmissions, and learned about the Coalition while deliberately maintaining the appearance of slow progress." Rhea leaned forward. "We knew how you categorized us and decided to change the rules of the game." "This is unprecedented," Trelvon admitted. "No species has ever." The ship's alert system interrupted, its urgent tone filling the conference room. Lieutenant Wei's voice came through the communication system. "Commander, Coalition warships are moving into attack positions. Their weapons are powering up." Rhea's expression hardened as she looked at the ambassador. "It seems Admiral Zix-Tar isn't interested in diplomacy." Trelvon's skin paled. "This was not authorized. I assure you." "Save your assurances, Ambassador. Please return to your vessel immediately." Rhea stood, her voice cool but firm. "We came hoping for peaceful recognition. The Coalition appears to have chosen a different path." As Trelvon was escorted back to her shuttle, Rhea returned to the bridge, where the tactical display showed 4 Coalition battle cruisers moving into firing positions. "They're hailing us," Wei reported. On screen, Admiral Zix-Tar's imposing figure appeared on the display. "Human vessel, you will power down your systems and surrender immediately. This is your only warning." Rhea met his gaze unflinchingly. "Admiral, we came in peace. We still hope for peaceful resolution. But if you fire upon this vessel, we will defend ourselves." "You are in no position to make threats," Zix-Tar snarled. "Your deception ends now." The transmission cut off abruptly, and Wei's console lit up with warnings. "They're targeting us. Energy weapons charging." Rhea took her command seat, her voice steady as she gave the order she had hoped to avoid. "Defensive systems online. Prepare countermeasures. No offensive action without my direct order." The Coalition vessels fired simultaneously, energy beams streaking through space toward the Thunderbolt. For a moment, it seemed the human vessel would be overwhelmed by the coordinated assault. Then something unprecedented happened. The energy beams hit an invisible barrier several meters from the Thunderbolt's hull and simply disappeared. No explosion, no dissipation effect. The attacks were absorbed completely, leaving the human vessel untouched. On the Coalition vessels, sensors went haywire as they detected a massive energy spike from the Thunderbolt. "What just happened?" demanded Zix-Tar, staring in disbelief at the tactical display. "Unknown, Admiral," his tactical officer responded, voice shaking. "Their defensive system appears to have absorbed our energy weapons. Impossible. Fire again, maximum power." The Coalition ships unleashed a second volley, more powerful than the first. Once again, the energy weapons disappeared upon contact with the Thunderbolt's defensive field. This time, the human vessel responded. A burst of concentrated blue energy shot from the Thunderbolt, striking one of the Coalition battle cruisers with surgical precision. The energy didn't explode against the cruiser's shields. It passed through them, as if they didn't exist, striking the vessel's propulsion system and disabling it instantly. Before the coalition could react, 3 more precisely targeted shots disabled the weapons systems of the remaining vessels, leaving them effectively neutered but structurally intact. On the inevitable, Admiral Zix-Tar watched in stunned silence as his fleet, 4 of the coalition's most advanced battle cruisers, was neutralized in less than 30 seconds by a single human vessel. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, voice trembling, "we're being hailed by the human ship." Ria's face appeared on the screen, her expression severe but controlled. "This demonstration was necessary but regrettable, Admiral. We disabled your propulsion and weapons systems only. Your life support and other essential systems remain untouched." "What have you done?" Zix-Tar growled. "We've demonstrated that humanity cannot be dismissed or threatened. We came seeking peaceful recognition, not conflict." Ria's eyes narrowed slightly. "The technology you just witnessed is merely one of many advancements we've developed, while your coalition believed we were still figuring out basic space travel." Before Zix-Tar could respond, another communication came through, from Coalition Central Command. High Counselor Vel-Mix appeared, his scales now a pale, concerned gray. "Admiral, stand down immediately. Ambassador Trelvon has informed us of your unauthorized attack." The High Counselor's voice was tight with controlled fury. "Commander Kapper, on behalf of the Coalition, I extend our deepest apologies for this incident." Zix-Tar's face contorted with rage. "High Counselor, these humans have deceived us for decades. They represent a clear threat to—" "Enough." Vel-Mix cut him off. "Your actions have brought us to the brink of an interspecies incident. Return to Central Command immediately." As the transmission ended, Zix-Tar stared at the Thunderbolt through the view screen, hatred burning in his eyes. This humiliation would not stand. The humans had made a powerful enemy today. News of the encounter spread across Coalition space like wildfire. The previously unknown humans had not only appeared with advanced technology, but had effortlessly neutralized 4 battle cruisers without causing casualties. Across thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched recordings of the brief engagement, witnessing the moment when the Coalition's military superiority, a cornerstone of its authority, was called into question. In the Coalition's Central Command Chamber, chaos reigned. "This changes everything," declared the Meridian representative, his crystalline form vibrating with agitation. "If the humans possess this technology, our entire defense strategy is obsolete." "Perhaps this is precisely why they developed it in secret," suggested the Vorn delegate, her multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "They knew we would react with hostility rather than recognition." "That doesn't excuse their deception," countered another representative. "They should have followed established protocols for emerging species." Krasful, who had warned about underestimating the humans, stepped forward. "Protocols that would have kept them categorized as primitive for another century. I've reviewed our monitoring records. We missed signs of their advancement because they deliberately concealed them. The question we should be asking is, why?" High Counselor Vel-Mix called for order, his scales shifting between troubled gray and thoughtful blue. "The human commander has requested a formal meeting with the full council. I have granted this request, without consultation." Admiral Zix-Tar objected, having returned to Central Command under orders. "The situation demands immediate action." Vel-Mix replied coldly, "Your unauthorized attack nearly triggered an interspecies conflict. You've demonstrated that military approaches are ineffective against their technology." "One ship is not a fleet," Zix-Tar insisted. "But what if there are more?" Krasful asked quietly, voicing the fear that had spread through the council. "What if this Thunderbolt is merely the first of many?" The chamber fell silent as the representatives contemplated this possibility. For millennia, the Coalition had maintained galactic dominance through technological superiority. If humans had somehow leapfrogged ahead, developing defensive systems that rendered Coalition weapons useless, the balance of power could shift dramatically. "The human representatives will arrive in 6 hours," Vel-Mix announced. I suggest we all prepare for a diplomatic approach. War is clearly not an option. As the council session adjourned, representatives formed into hushed groups, discussing the implications. Several delegates from smaller coalition species seemed almost pleased by the development. They had long chafed under the dominance of the founding species. Unnoticed in the commotion, Admiral Zix Tar slipped away, making his way to a secure communication chamber. There, he contacted a select group of loyal officers. "The council has lost its nerve," he told them. "These humans represent an existential threat to the coalition. If political leadership won't act decisively, we must." "What are you suggesting, Admiral?" one of his captains asked cautiously. "Prepare your vessels. We'll show these humans that one ship doesn't make them a galactic power." Aboard the Thunderbolt, Raya received updates from Earth's hidden observation posts throughout coalition space. The reaction to their appearance was spreading exactly as predicted: fear, diplomatic scrambling, and military repositioning. "The coalition's unified front is cracking," Dr. Montgomery noted, reviewing the intelligence reports. "Several member species are already reaching out through back channels, seeking separate agreements with Earth." "And Admiral Zix Tar?" Rhea asked. We checked his console. Our surveillance systems detected unauthorized communications from his private channel. He's mobilizing ships from the outer sectors, vessels not directly under Central Command's control. Rhea nodded, unsurprised. "He's planning something desperate." "Should we inform the Coalition Council?" Dr. Montgomery asked. "Not yet." Rhea studied the tactical display thoughtfully. "This may be the catalyst we need for the next phase." She opened a secure channel to Earth. Phase 1 complete. Coalition military response neutralized without casualties. Diplomatic channels opening. Request permission to proceed to Phase 2. The response came moments later from the unified Earth government. "Permission granted. The Artemis fleet stands ready." New balance of power. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Coalition gleamed under artificial light, its vast dome stretching hundreds of meters overhead. Representatives from all 27 member species sat in concentric rings, their attention fixed on the 5 humans who stood at the center of the chamber. Commander Rio Capper led the Earth delegation, flanked by Dr. Montgomery, Lieutenant Wei, and 2 diplomatic specialists from Earth's unified government. High Counselor Velnix addressed the assembly, his voice amplified throughout the massive space. "We convened this emergency session to address the arrival of humanity's representatives and their request for recognition as a spacefaring civilization." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Many representatives were seeing humans in person for the first time, studying these beings who had so thoroughly deceived their monitoring systems. "Commander Kepper, you may address the council," Velnix announced, his scales now a neutral blue, the color of diplomatic neutrality among his species. Rhea stepped forward, her dark uniform contrasting with the white marble floor. For a moment, she took in the sight before her, the culmination of decades of human planning and preparation. "Representatives of the Galactic Coalition," she began, her voice clear and measured. "For centuries, your civilization has observed Earth from a distance, categorizing humanity as primitive, divided, and unworthy of contact. You placed probes in our solar system, monitored our communications, and decided our fate without our knowledge or consent." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Or so you believed." A holographic display activated above the human delegation, showing images of coalition monitoring devices recovered by Earth forces over the decades. 50 years ago, we detected your surveillance. Rather than announcing this discovery, Earth's nations made an unprecedented decision: to unite in secret, to advance our technology beyond your expectations, and to prepare for this very moment. The holographic display shifted to show Earth's technological progression, the hidden facilities, the breakthrough innovations, the unified space program that had developed in parallel to the public one. "We stand before you not as supplicants seeking admission to your coalition, but as equals offering partnership. Earth has developed technologies that, in some areas, exceed your own. We have unified our planet, eliminated poverty and hunger, and begun the exploration of our solar system, all while maintaining the facade of slow progress for your watching eyes. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices and translated exclamations. Representatives demanded explanations, expressed outrage, or called for calm in dozens of languages simultaneously. High Counselor Velnix raised all 6 hands for silence. Commander, your revelation is disturbing. You claim humanity has deliberately deceived the Coalition for decades. Why should we now trust anything you say? We deceived you because you left us no choice, Rio replied evenly. Your protocols would have kept Earth isolated for centuries more, preventing us from joining the galactic community as equals. We learned your languages, studied your cultures, and understood your politics, all while you dismissed us as barely worth monitoring. Dr. Montgomery stepped forward, adding, "Consider our actions from our perspective. An unknown alien coalition was watching our planet, judging our worthiness based on criteria we never agreed to. Would any of your species have acted differently?" The Meridian representative's crystalline form glimmered as he spoke. Your ship, this Thunderbolt, demonstrated capabilities that neutralized 4 of our battle cruisers within moments. Are we to believe this was a peaceful mission? We came prepared for any response, Rhea acknowledged. Given Admiral Zixtar's unauthorized attack, our precautions were justified. But notice that despite having the capability to destroy those vessels, we merely disabled them. No Coalition lives were lost. As the debate continued, no one noticed Admiral Zixtar's conspicuous absence from the chamber. In the outer reaches of the Coalition's central system, 16 warships gathered in tight formation. Admiral Zixtar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Retribution, a newly commissioned vessel with firepower that exceeded even the inevitable. "Status report," he demanded. "All vessels in position, Admiral," his tactical officer responded. "The human ship remains docked at Central Command. They appear unaware of our presence." Zixtar's eyes narrowed with satisfaction. "Perfect. The Council may have lost its nerve, but we will show these humans the true might of the Coalition. One fortunate encounter doesn't make them our equals." "Sir, should we wait for authorization from Central Command?" his second-in-command asked hesitantly. "The Council has been compromised by fear," Zixtar growled. "Once we eliminate this human threat, they'll thank us for our initiative." The massive fleet accelerated towards Central Command, weapons charging. Zixtar had assembled the most powerful strike force under his direct command. Ships with captains loyal to him personally rather than to the political leadership of the Coalition. "The humans think they've changed the balance of power with one ship," he told his officers. "We'll show them what real power looks like." In the council chamber, Krasthul received an urgent message on his secure terminal. His yellow eyes widened as he read the alert, and he immediately interrupted the proceedings. "High Counselor, forgive the interruption, but our security systems have detected multiple warships approaching Central Command at combat speed. They're led by the Retribution." "Admiral Zixtar," Velnix hissed, his scales darkening with anger. "He wouldn't dare." Rhea's communication device chimed softly. She glanced at it, then exchanged a meaningful look with her team. "It appears the Admiral has made his decision. We anticipated this possibility." "You knew?" Velnix demanded. "We've been monitoring all Coalition communications since our arrival," Rhea admitted. "Admiral Zixtar has been planning this strike since his first attempt failed." The Council erupted again, this time in panic. Representatives demanded immediate evacuation, enhanced security, diplomatic solutions, their unified front crumbling in the face of internal division and external threat. "The Admiral commands 16 warships," Krasthul reported grimly. "Central Command's defensive systems cannot repel a force of that size." Rhea stepped forward again, her voice cutting through the chaos. "The Thunderbolt can defend this station, but I must return to my ship immediately." One vessel against 16. The Vorn delegate's multiple eyes blinked in disbelief. "Even with your advanced technology, The numerical advantage is overwhelming. Who said anything about one vessel? Rhea replied, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Admiral Zixtar watched with satisfaction as his fleet approached Central Command. The massive space station loomed ahead, its defensive systems already activating. But they were designed to repel external threats, not an attack from the Coalition's own warships. Target the docking bay containing the human vessel, he ordered. Once it's destroyed, target their delegation in the council chamber. We'll eliminate their leadership in one strike. Admiral, his sensor officer called out, voice tinged with confusion. I'm detecting unusual energy readings near the station. Specify. Multiple spatial distortions forming in a sphere around Central Command. Similar to the stealth technology the human ship used, but bigger, much bigger. Before Zixtar could respond, space itself seemed to ripple around his fleet, where there had been empty vacuum moments before. 7 massive warships suddenly appeared, surrounding his forces in a perfect containment formation. The human vessels dwarfed even the Retribution. Black as the void with subtle blue energy pulsing along their hulls, they emerged from stealth mode simultaneously, their weapons already trained on the Coalition fleet. Impossible, Zixtar whispered, staring at the tactical display in disbelief. Where did they come from? His communications officer's voice shook as he reported. Admiral, we're being hailed by the lead human vessel. On the main screen, Rhea Kapper appeared. She now stood on the bridge of a ship far larger than the Thunderbolt, its command center staffed by dozens of focused human officers. Admiral Zixtar, she said calmly. This is Commander Rhea Kapper aboard the Earth flagship Artemis. Your unauthorized military action against Central Command has been intercepted. The Thunderbolt was just a scout, Zixtar realized aloud, his voice hollow with shock. The Thunderbolt was a diplomatic vessel, Rhea corrected, one designed to demonstrate our technological capabilities while opening peaceful dialogue. The Artemis fleet represents Earth's true defensive capacity. On the tactical display, more data flooded in as Zixtar's officers analyzed the human vessels. Each ship carried weaponry that outclassed his own, defense systems similar to the Thunderbolts, and energy signatures that suggested propulsion technology unlike anything in Coalition records. Your actions today have endangered not only human lives, but those of the entire Coalition Council, Rhea continued. Stand down immediately.